You should do that now, Mel.
What's up, everybody? Hello out there in
Ooh.
TV land. Yeah,
um,
it's a little Marlon Wayans reference for those of y'all that don't watch the Wayans brothers.
this is why I
But
love joking around before we do the show because then we're already like squirrely before we even start.
Right,
dude,
warmed up, ready to go.
this, dude, I'm warmed up all day, every day. This is my one chance to live free. My
Without being
one chance. My one chance without being judged. I'm good.
oh
All
man.
right. So a couple days ago, you had posted the top 10 all-time QB list.
Yes,
Don't know where it
sir.
came from,
I unfortunately I couldn't
but
find even where I found it from, which made it disappointing
well,
because
regardless of where you found it from, here's the top 10. Brady 1, Joe Montana 2, Peyton Manning 3, Drew Brees 4, Jim number 5, Dan Marino number 6, Aaron Rodgers 7, Elway 8, Brett Favre 9, and at 10, rounding it out, is Roger Staubach. Now, my gripe with this was I counted at least four lists that are statistically kicked off. Staubach, Unitas, Elway, and possibly Montana. I think Marino, trigger happy as he was, I think he still stays hovering around the top 10.
Mm.
So Nathan Howard disagreed with me when I said Philip Rivers should be on this list. Now, I get it. He doesn't like Philip Rivers for whatever reason, but here's the reality. Quietly, Philip Rivers is one of the best quarterbacks out there. Just because he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring does not make him, exempt from this list. Reno ring, and he's on this list. So statistically, I put Philip Rivers in there because shit, he's got over 20,000 yards if I'm not mistaken. So my question is, what would you guys' top 10 be?
man, all time.
That's
So I the I mean the great I mean the one reason why I did post that is I feel like the top five isn't very far off.
mhm.
I still don't put Breeze in my top five, even though he has a lot of records. I would like to see him maybe capture another Super Bowl or an NFC championship to like kind of guide him off into the sunset, as it were.
Well, he
Uh,
did. He did get the super. When they beat the Colts, he did get an NFC championship out of that. So,
yeah, and I mean
eh,
he did. I mean he does have a Super Bowl ring. The year they beat the Bears, I believe it was.
no,
Uh,
I thought it was the
or was it
Colts.
the Colts? Yeah, it was the Colts. My bad.
Yeah.
No, what either way. But again he has a ring, which again puts him up there. Um, like you said, I feel like them putting Aaron Rodgers in there. That's somebody that's a fanboy. Um, I mean, to be honest, I mean, even Brett Favre, even though he also had a lot of records is in high in a lot of the quarterback statistics. And again, he has a I'll say an Iron Man belt. He had a lot of very consecutive seasons without missing games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Actually,
not to cut you off, but I was just looking
no,
at
you're
this.
fine. I was about to say I'm about to look up what somebody else's top 10 QBs are right now.
Philip
Just
Rivers in passing. Philip Rivers was fourth last year.
see,
For he
he's
had
another one that
4,600
like
yards.
over. I mean, again,
Wow.
obviously, fantasy is a lot different than actual on the field, but he's another guy that always does fairly well in fantasy and just overall like quarterback statistics. He just can't win games, even with how dominant their defense is.
Well, let's be real about this one. In this year's reality, the AFC West was one of the better. This was one of the better years for the AFC West,
Oh, definitely.
and with the way Mahomes and Carr were playing, even though Carr and the Raiders didn't really show up the way they should have, um, that was still one of the better years. So my thing with that was, uh, even with it's not always Philip Rivers' fault. Let's start over and look at
Yep.
the reality. He was replacing an injured Drew Brees, and they got rid of him because they didn't think Brees was going to hold up. Hindsight's 2020, and Brees just won a Super Bowl before Philip Rivers. So I think Chargers might have made a mistake on that one, but
Chargers didn't want
he
to take a gamble just because of Breeze having that shoulder surgery. And again, the medical diagnosis didn't think that he was going to be able to recover to what he is. I mean, a lot
But
of
what
people
the
still sleep on his arm strength. That's why they usually bring in Tyson Hill for long shots. But I mean,
but
still,
even with that,
Breeze still
why do you even with that, with the advancements in modern medical technology as far as the NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, MLS, and all of that go, why would you listen to a doctor when that was what you sent him there for? I get it. The prognosis says he may not be back to what he was beforehand, but you still got rid of Breeze for Rivers. So obviously you believed in Rivers enough to put him on the pedestal and say, this is your team now. Let's say almost 20 years later, you still haven't done anything for him. LT left, what, 4 or 5 years after that?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay, you don't re-sign or bring back LT. You let go of Gates at some point, and then you Merriman went crazy and beats up Tia Takia or whatever her name was,
I
and
forgot
then
about that.
you don't do anything else for him. Like that man's you basically put him in a Senate Athletic League situation. You said, here, this is what you got. Make the best of it. You didn't never bring in the real stiff defense. You never brought in any real receivers, and there were a plethora of them in free agency. And then to turn around and all you do is say, yeah, we're going back to the powder blue jerseys. So hope that works out for you. And
Uh-huh.
then after that, you move them back to LA, which was the dumbest idea ever because now, you take away one of the biggest fan bases in the NFL for a fan base that doesn't really give a shit about sports outside of the Lakers.
They couldn't even fill a small college stadium.
Soccer, they were in the LA Galaxy soccer stadium and still couldn't fill it.
Yeah.
So regardless of that, my thing was Rivers deserves to be on the top 10 list. It's just not all of his fault. That's just how I feel. The numbers say the same thing. He's almost damn near double or triple what Unitas and Staubach have done.
Yeah. And what was funny is, again, that I wanted to see online what somebody else's list was. They actually had Otto Graham as number 10. Namath and Drew Brees got honorable mention. Now, granted, this is from 2017.
It's 3 years ago. Who smoked?
Yeah.
Who was smoking to come up with this list?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that Otto Graham would make sense is the amount of championships that he's won. That's pretty much it. Statistically, he ain't nowhere close, though.
He can't be. He can't be. He cannot be.
And he barely
Not
had
only that,
1,000 yards.
Oh, those
right.
This is damn. Give me the list.
That's laughable. I never knock Cleveland history, but that right there is laughable.
I'm trying to look at because they did the NFL 100 all-time team for quarterbacks, but I'm trying to find the list instead of them just listing one. These were the top 10 that they put. All right, they won't give me an actual list, but so Sammy Baugh, Tom Brady, John Elway, Brett Favre, Otto Graham, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Joe Namath, Johnny Unitas, Joe Montana, and Roger Staubach.
That list is null and void.
That was the NFL all-time 100 quarterbacks
That was the top 10 of that 100.
of last year. So this is an article of December at the end of basically the end of the season.
And you wonder why. And you wonder why Roger Goodell is like the dumbest commissioner in the history of sports.
Because they'll allow this kind of list.
Man, how does that even work?
I don't know. Oh, that's from 2009. That's old as shit.
Okay, we'll move on from that. Yeah, Ronnie might be.
The NFL 100 list was also very curious to me because I feel like they had a bunch of dudes in there. Like, again, I give them some clout because they had like Bill Belichick and stuff like that on the panel. But like, I feel like a lot of like, it's so hard to bridge the gap from like Otto Graham to Tom Brady. Like that generational gap and play style gap
far beyond everything.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand how they came up with that, but whatever.
Yeah. Again, I don't understand how people put
dudes that are barely still alive on this list.
Yeah. That, and again, you had guys that, I mean, I like Aaron Rodgers, but all time to put him at as high as they did at like 6 or 7 is wild.
I'd have put him at like 9th or 10th. He still got time.
Yeah.
You know, and then the injury bug caught him. So, you know, like that broken collarbone thing, that set him back a few thousand yards just because.
And I don't know if it was you guys or if it was with Courtney, but again, talking about guys like him or Peyton, or I mean, even you look at Brady, a lot of those guys didn't have running backs to also lean on. They did it all by themselves, especially Peyton. Peyton
had Edgerrin until they were stupid and let Edgerrin go. And then he had Joseph Adai for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who he had after that, but no, take that back. He started off with Marshall.
That was the only thing I could think of.
He started off with Marshall, and then they let Marshall go. Then he got Edgerrin James, which was the best thing that ever happened to him. Yeah. And then they got once they let go of Edgerrin James, they had Joseph Adai. Adai wasn't, he wasn't Marshall or Edgerrin per se, but he did enough to keep the heat off of Peyton in Indianapolis. At least I think so. Because, you got a lot there. You have all this offense, barely any defense. Like you had Bob Sanders, but Bob kept getting hurt, which is why he had to retire early. Mm-hmm. So,
he had major concussion issues.
Yeah, well, you see how he played, man. He played like he didn't care about nobody's life, not even his own. He was like
NFL blitz player.
I was gonna say he was a black version of Sabu. If you ever watched wrestling and saw Sabu, you know what I'm talking about. Like for you to just run in and just not care about the way you hitting somebody and it could hurt you and him, like, yeah, you taking years off your career, maybe your life. I don't know. Love Bob Sanders though, but once you lose a guy like Sanders in that facet, that defense is never the same. Like, not that defense was anything to talk about anyway.
Right.
But, you scoring 50, 60 points a game, there's not too many NFL teams that can keep up with that. So,
hey, speaking of crazy safeties, you see that video that I posted? Takeo Spikes talking about
The Brian Dawkins.
saying
I want some of that.
In the huddle saying, I'm going to take his soul. And Takio's like, what? He goes, I'm going to take his soul and see how much he wants to play. And Takio was like on a wheel route with the running back, and they threw it to him. Dawkins
he said,
came
I
out
want some of that next game.
And took his life. And Takio said he jumped up and said, hallelujah, thank you, God. Like, if I heard that, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm done. I'm out. No. He's playing.
Takio said, I want some of that next game. Give me some of what he got.
You're just playing on a different level at that point. Like,
you talk about playing with God on your side.
Right.
Well, since we're moving on from that, Ronnie, I think you'll like this. There will be MLB this year. The MLBPA and the owners have agreed to go 60 games, I believe.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah, 60 games. I think they're still working out the details of where, but from the look of things, it looks like Texas is going to be a place, either Arizona or Nevada. I think it's Arizona because that's where most of the teams train in springtime anyway. So Texas, Arizona, and I think Florida, if they can get their head together on that, and Florida stop acting retarded.
Of whenever they were originally talking about coming back, doing the Cactus League and the Citrus League in Arizona and Florida, that would have been cool.
Well, that was, here's my thing with spring training. Spring training for baseball, well, I guess off-season training, is entirely too short.
Yeah.
If you ask me. Because, half the team is skill players, outfielders, basemen, and then pitchers report faster than anybody, and it's like you get 28 games of spring training, spring league.
Something like that.
So it's like, and in April, I think they need to stretch that a little bit because I think the MLB forgets a lot of these teams are cold weather teams. Like every time we get ready in Cleveland for the Indians to open up, can't never fucking do it because it's April and it's 5 degrees outside and snowing. Like, I don't think y'all understand. Motherfuckers get cold.
Hey, honestly,
motherfuckers get cold waiting for you to throw a pitch.
Like, again, it would be pretty cool to, again, the whole idea of like opening day and stuff like that, but there's nothing wrong with opening day not being till like May, June, where like most of these teams, like you said, that aren't in a dome and are in these cold weather cities. Like, I can't tell you the last time that I can remember that like opening day in Pittsburgh was like fun to go to. Because in April,
never fun to go to.
Cold as shit or rain.
It ain't never fun to go to. It's 5 degrees outside, and you taking 5 minutes to throw a pitch, man. You better hurry this shit up.
I don't go to the first game till June.
I think I'm not gonna say stretch it till May. I say give it till mid-April. That way you can still do your spring training. You can add a couple more games if you want. You still got time to make cuts. Check your farm systems out for, prospects and everything. Just, take into consideration where your opening days are for these cold weather teams. I think you should put these opening days for cold weather teams, New York, Boston, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Philly, Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee. Put them damn opening days towards the end of April. Not saying start the season in May or late April, but put them cold weather teams, let them opening days come up in mid-April. That way, you know what your weather is going to look like. Because you sitting up there talking about April 4th, April 4th is Cleveland's opening day. Motherfucker, in Cleveland in April, it might liably be a blizzard.
Yeah.
Who want to go to a game in the middle of a blizzard? I don't.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, even with, again, the quarantine that we had this year, I mean, I remember I was working on my bathroom, and trying to go from the house out to the garage sucked until
Yeah.
like damn near until at least quarantine was almost done.
Yeah, man, you can't I this is what I hate. This is the logical part I hate about sports. Like they don't never think like, especially like the non-contact sports, soccer, baseball. Like you guys, you I'm pretty sure, I'm damn sure am certain in New York in April it is not 90 degrees.
Oh,
No.
especially not
So
since most of them. I mean, the Yankees are literally downtown, so
and they in the
you're just
Bronx. So you
yeah,
hitting all water. So I know it ain't exactly 90 degrees outside. So
yeah,
my
you're
feeling is,
around water, steel, and concrete.
yeah, and so are the Indians. So are the
Yeah,
Indians. We are that it's a straight shot to the lake. So my thinking, and I know for a fact it's never 90 degrees in Wisconsin. I'm sure of that.
yeah.
Uh I had a friend tell me, man, you just missed summer. I was like, wait, what? Just missed summer? Yeah, it was last week. All right.
Last week.
So I'm thinking, and and for the life of me, I don't understand why the players union doesn't do this because all the power that they have. I don't see why they don't push for something like this. You know,
Yeah. I think it's
because
like the
let's
NFL. I don't
reality,
think
Ronnie,
they
you an
focus
Indians
on
fan,
that.
I'm an Indians fan.
Mhm.
Well, NFL is different, but for me and Ronnie being baseball fans in Cleveland, which is a cold weather city,
Yeah.
you know, you're not guaranteed to see opening day because opening day might get canceled or might be postponed. So
Yeah.
instead of postponing it, why don't you as a player get with the union? Hey man, let's push this back a little bit so we can actually get that opening day going. Because opening day is like a damn near national, at least a city holiday here.
Yes, it
That's
is.
basically how
You
Pittsburgh is, even how bad they are.
Yeah, so why kill that? Why kill that excitement? Why kill that day? Why kill all the money that's gonna come in from that? Because a lot of opening days sell out. Let's look at reality. Everybody waiting on baseball season. The diehard baseball fans waiting on baseball season. Why not just push it back? Especially in
I
the
mean,
cold
you
weather
think about
cities.
it too. I mean, you can only imagine teams in like again Arizona, Cali, again some of those Florida teams. You can only imagine they're gonna appreciate it too,
Right.
because I
Because if
mean,
they gotta come out
Florida
there, they gonna fuck around and freeze to death.
Florida lately has been cooler, but still going from 60 and sunny to
Two.
12 and shitty.
Yeah.
It's definitely a different feel. So I feel like
I
even the Arizona guys with Arizona and warm weather areas would appreciate that too.
yeah, I would appreciate it because I would like to go to
Yeah.
a baseball game,
Again, I'm not a
and not
huge
have to
Pirates
wait till
fan, but
June, July.
again, I'm not a huge Pirates fan, but again, I still enjoy going to some games
Yeah.
whenever I
Yeah,
can
everybody does. Everybody
get
does. But
cheap tickets just to screw nutting.
right. But who wants to sit in 5-degree weather trying to, watch the game? You take a 5 minutes to pitch and we all freezing to death. We can't even get hype for the game because too busy fucking being cold.
Right.
That's why I really don't go to football games past like October.
Man, I made that mistake one time. Never do it again. I went to the Browns Ravens game couple years ago. With the year they went 0-16. I went. We were right behind the goalpost, opposite of the dog pound, and
Yeah.
I froze. I'm thinking it's gonna be warmer inside the bowl. Oh man, I froze my ass off. I was not happy about that.
Man, the way that air hit off the lake and it swirled around inside the stadium,
Oh
man.
my
That's
god.
why. That's why I'm almost. I haven't been to the stadium since they remodeled it,
Oh my
but
goodness.
that's why I'm happy whenever the Steelers closed off the south end zone, and kind of put bleachers there because usually I don't care where you sat in that bitch. Whenever it was like cold and the water came off the river, no dice. That was some brutal wind.
Here's a what's a gem for you, Ronnie. Manchester City's on the tear. They beat Newcastle yesterday 2-0, or today rather.
Manchester City did?
Yeah, bro, you act like, hey man, you got to remember, man, these Manchester teams are not. They don't. It's not for them to be a game to them. Like, especially when they see United coming on the schedule, it's a
Oh,
done deal.
oh yeah, you already know what it is, man. You know.
But well, see, I know you wait for the World Cup like I do, but just to catch a game or two now on TV is a breath of fresh air because uh, it's not the Mexican league, but the English dudes make it pretty exciting now. They're starting to catch up with the Mexican announcers.
Oh yeah, the thing is, like, you figure teams like that. I think right now they said there's a team that's trying to avoid being knocked out, maybe like Wolverhampton or something like that. I was following a little bit. I know they said Liverpool probably has the strongest chance to take it, which, if you're somebody who does follow Manchester United, it's just hard to hear that or whatever. But
We about to get letters from England now, fucking with you.
right. But it's been a long time coming for them, man. I can't hate. They need one at some point. So let this be the year then.
Yeah. Okay, now I wanted to talk to you both about this because we're both college football fans. We're all three of us at rather college football fans. Um, I George, I don't know how well you follow, HBCU football, but I thought this was interesting to
Here and
talk
there.
about because I think this could be really, really big. And that's Bethune-Cookman
Yeah.
and another team. I forget what other team it is. Join the SWAC and leave the MEAC starting in 2021. They become full members of the SWAC. So that makes 6 teams on. It's a 12-team conference, 6 teams on each side. Ronnie, I gotta have your thoughts first because this is interesting to me in terms of not only just money but TV deals.
I mean, you figure you bring over Bethune-Cookman.
It's Florida A&M. I just looked it up.
Ooh.
Florida A&M and Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Another thing about HBCU is Morehouse already canceled their season for this year. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they haven't
with
had a decent team, so I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, well, with again the growing concerns with everything going on, I guess they're erring on the extreme side of caution.
And that's fine. That's fine.
No, yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I respect it, but that
no,
again, that's the
I'm
first thing
saying
I
that's
saw.
fine because
Oh,
that no, a lot of teams are debating. A lot of the FCS and Division 2 and Division 3 teams are debating should we cancel football because of the pandemic. And
yeah,
my thinking is this: if you got it under control and you are following regulations, I don't see a problem with you keeping your season going because you're gonna need money outside of tuition payments and such like that to keep school going. As you already knew, Urbana shut down this year or last year.
yeah, I
So
did see that.
I'm thinking if you have a contingency plan in place, I don't see a problem with it. But if you are fearful of the outbreak hitting your school hard, then you know you can do that too. It's free either way. But my thing was I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts starting 2021. Bethune-Cookman and Florida A&M being members of the SWAC.
Well, let's see. First of all, it definitely makes the SWAC like super competitive. Start with that. Then
It was
also,
already competitive.
right, but now you figure you got another. Well, I won't say another, but you have the top team coming out of the MEAC going into the SWAC. That'll be pretty interesting. And then also with Bethune-Cookman, I mean, it's just more and more Florida guys. You know what I'm saying? It can run that other conference and have more recruiting. And I feel like it'd be a little bit faster. And I feel like maybe one of these teams, if they keep doing that or stay in it long enough, then maybe, and I'm not sure if it'll ever happen with an HBCU, but it'll be nice to see one of them kind of like jump up and go into one of the other conferences. I'm not sure if it'll happen. You know what I mean? But with that amount of talent, though, I don't know. Maybe sometime in the future it could happen. Because my thing is like this. I was looking at it as you were talking about it. And they were saying another move would be North Carolina A&T going to the Big South. So there's that. Because in my thoughts were like this. You figure if Florida A&M leaves, I'm thinking, oh, okay, North Carolina A&T will probably run away with it. You know what I mean? The MEAC. But with them going to the Big South, it's like, okay, well now who's left in the MEAC that's going to be able to take that over for that particular conference?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Let me think about that because, well, I take that back. I do think the conference can survive because you still have South Carolina State, North Carolina Central, Morgan State, Howard, a couple other teams that I can't think of right now, but it's possible. You still got like I said, South Carolina State has a decent team every now and again. Howard's moving back up. Morgan State's moving back up. Norfolk State revamped the team, so this will be year 2 for the coaching staff to have everything in place. I don't see why they couldn't pull it off. Granted, losing Bethune-Cookman and who else did you say it was?
North Carolina A&T.
A&T.
Big South.
Okay, so losing A&T and Bethune-Cookman does hurt because those are your 2 best teams.
Yeah.
Year in and year out. Your 2 best halftime shows.
Yep.
Or one of your 2 best halftime shows, rather. So you still got a couple teams left. Now, do I think these guys make a play for the national championship at the Celebration Bowl? I don't think so. Because with Bethune-Cookman joining and Florida A&M, making their way over to the SWAC, it makes the SWAC so much more harder to deal with now because it's been a dogfight for the SWAC these last couple of years.
True.
Alcorn State, Grambling, Southern, Mississippi Valley State. They're teams that are looking for a reason to bust your head, if that makes sense.
Exactly.
So do I think the MEAC can survive? Yes. Do I think unless the structure of the conferences gets revamped, do I think they make a play for national championship contention? No, because there's too much firepower in the SWAC now, starting in 2021, that it's going to be, well, who the hell do we have to contend with these guys? Because in one division, it's been between Alcorn State and Grambling to get to the championship on one side, and you got Southern, Mississippi Valley State on the other. So you're looking at Alcorn, Grambling, Bethune-Cookman, Florida A&M. That's a hell of a division.
Yeah,
that looked like that. Honestly, that's looking like the equivalent of the Big Ten East. And I know people are going to look at me and say, "You're crazy. You don't know what that looks. You don't know what." Yeah, I do. If you pay attention to football, if you look at the Big Ten East and you look at that division starting 2021 in the SWAC with Bethune-Cookman, Alcorn State, Florida A&M just on one side, and then you got Grambling, Southern, Prairie View on the other. You got a hell of a divisional fight every game. And I think that's going to be, for football in HBCU country, that's going to be great.
Definitely a lot more notice and more national spotlight, I feel like. Because you figure if you get that much.
Man, BET going to be playing them games on during the daytime now.
Right.
Instead of that tape delay at 10 o'clock.
Right. telling you, man, they'll get more airtime off of that. It's so
Hey, that would
exciting.
be actually wild if BET did like a full-on sports
They
contract with
actually
them.
used to. They actually
Yeah.
used to. But the problem was they would tape delay these games. So these games weren't coming on till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. The game been over.
Yep.
Like you'd be watching Prairie View or somebody go at, and they would pick the games that they wanted to show, which is fine because you got to showcase every HBCU that you can. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I want to watch the game as it's happening. I don't want to see it, look on the bottom line of ESPN and then see the game. I want to see it as it's happening. That was my only problem with BET doing that. Now, with this move, do I think they changed up? If they cover these games, do I think they change it up? Yeah, I do, because one, everybody's going to want to see the bands. Two, now the football, it jumps up. The competition jumps up. There's just no way you can say that, HBCU football is not. Yeah, it is. The only problem is nobody shows the games.
Yep.
Fox Sportsnet and a couple of the regional TV stations are the only ones that cover it. So now, looking at this long term, if this move, the way they pulled this off, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what it looks like on the field, especially now when you got matchups with cross divisional matchups with Bethune-Cookman and Grambling or Southern or Alcorn, and then you see football, and then you got halftime coming up, bruh.
It's gonna be a
Sign me up.
whole dynamic, man.
Sign me up. I'm
The
with
other
it.
fun thing's going to be is I know Cam Newton's little brother went to Howard. Did
He's
he
still
get
there, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think he just
Wait.
transferred there from Auburn. Or
Yeah.
did he
He transferred from Auburn,
Yeah,
so
did
he's
he
at Howard.
did he get his appeal for immediate play, or does he have to sit? Because it's technically
Let's.
still D1, correct? So I mean,
Yes, but
Yep.
it's a championship subdivision, so it's not like
bet. So he should be able to play.
he should be able to play. But let me look that up.
I was
Let's
just
look
thinking
that up.
about that. Because they already had a nice quarterback, and then adding Cam's little brother would be even nicer.
But here's the thing with that: if you enter the transfer portal, whatever your reason is for transferring, you're still supposed to have a chance to play for that year, even if you didn't play. Because I know a lot of redshirt people transferred, or
If you
or
transfer
sit.
down, yeah. But if you
Yeah,
transfer
if you
within
transfer lateral, yeah,
FBS, yeah.
but he went to FCS, and if
Yeah,
I'm
so
not
he
mistaken,
should be good.
yeah, I'm looking at
Keyword
that
should
now.
be.
If he's not, then that's an NCAA problem they're gonna have to deal with, because he could technically take them to court over that.
Yeah, because he'll probably have to petition for that if not. No.
Yep, he is in Howard. I don't see anything about him not being able to play, but doesn't mean that it ain't.
Yeah, I mean he should once again, keyword should be eligible to
Yeah,
play.
because it is the NCAA, so
Yeah, we never know how that's going to work out.
I mean, I personally, when I saw that move, I thought that was a good move for him, because now he gets to shine like that. The team, the atmosphere, it's all him. Like, it's not, nobody has a say in what he does on the field, period. So in a sense, that made sense. That was a great move for him, because truth be told, none of these D1 schools really care about the players. They care about more of the money that's coming in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, going to Howard, I'm optimistic. And Howard being, you know, actually, now that I think about it, this changes for Howard. If I'm not mistaken, isn't Howard in the MEAC?
Yeah, they're in the MEAC
Is
right
on
now.
offense? Yeah, offensively, that changes the dynamic for them because you got Cam Newton's little brother, and from what I've
Hold
seen,
on.
he looked just.
Actually, correction. He's leaving Howard to go to Auburn. Correction.
Oh,
He's going
Man,
the other way.
well,
he should be good to go to play either way because he's
Yeah.
transferring up.
And he still
And
it says he has 2 more years of eligibility.
well, shit, he could have still got drafted if he was looking to get drafted. You could get drafted from an HBCU. I mean, it's not like it ain't happened before.
right.
But I mean, if that's what he wanted to do, that's fine too.
And
I personally,
I don't want to hack
would've
his
stayed.
name up, but it does say he's eligible. He's immediately eligible to play.
well,
But again, he's going to be competing against Bo Nix.
he should have stayed where he was.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good move for him to go right now.
Well, unless Nick's plans on leaving and they redshirt him, that's the only thing I can see.
Yeah,
but that's not guaranteed either. You have to look at
you're
both
still
sides
playing
of it.
against the clock too. Just because you're redshirt doesn't mean that you have that much time to get those 4 years in.
Well, it still gives him a year back though, technically, because he transferred from a FCS. So it's not like he wasted all of his time in a FBS school and didn't play and just said, "Screw you guys, I'm going to another school." He was playing at FCS. Now he's moving up. So if and this is a very big if, they redshirt him, it gives him a year back because he's probably only going to play garbage time if Auburn even puts him in a garbage time situation.
True.
And I'm not saying his little brother is garbage or anything. The man can play, but you know how these coaches are in FBS schools.
He played well that's why I was confused and I had to relook it up. He played very well at Howard last year.
Right. And so, but the thing is, Bo Nix is established. You know, he's coming off a decent season. He's they're looking at him to repeat or put a 10-win season or better SEC championship in front of him. So I'm hard pressed to believe that they'll split quarterback duties because it's not like it's 1995 or 96 and you got 2 good quarterbacks. How do you manage them both? This is you got a good quarterback and you got another one coming in who's got legacy behind him. Mm-hmm. So what do? Do you put the legacy first or do you put the hot hand in? I'm hoping they redshirt him and give him a year back and then just, turn the ball over to him. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
And in other news, Under Armour looking to cut a $280 million deal with UCLA.
Yeah, that just came
Why
out
is this
yesterday.
funny to me? Why is this funny to me?
Damn, where did that article go? They said on the grounds of like something with like marketing numbers or something like that. So they're basically saying UCLA, you suck.
I mean, there's no question that they stink right now, but
where is that thing at?
I'm on ESPN.com right now looking at this particular article.
Yeah.
They're looking to break a 15-year, $280 million contract with UCLA.
Yeah.
They're looking to do this because they've been paying for, marketing and stuff like that and have got nothing in return, basically. So
again, that gets into it. Like, so as funny as it is, it gets into a very weird world of like how that sponsorship. Now, I don't know if they're trying, like, I don't know if Under Armour's like, forget this all, or if they might be trying to rework the numbers. Because the only other, I mean, if Under Armour dropping them, I could only imagine Adidas is going to try to pick them up if they're already having number issues. I don't
Well,
see Nike coming in,
Nike won't come in because they've got too many already. They got too many schools already.
especially in
They've
the
got
pack.
they've got half the Big Ten. They've got all of Oregon, all of Washington, damn near.
No,
Uh,
well, it's split now.
I'm saying as far as who they cover.
Oh
You
yeah,
got most of the Big Ten because if I'm not mistaken, isn't Jordan a brand or offshoot of Nike?
yeah. Jordan
Yeah.
is Nike. I mean,
Okay, so you got Michigan there, you got Ohio State, you've got Penn State, you've got I want to say Michigan State to a degree,
Michigan
They've had
and
State's
then
Iowa for
Nike.
years too.
yeah, and then you got over in the West, you've got Oregon. You're not getting rid of them. The guy graduated from there. He ain't
Yeah.
going nowhere. You got Stanford. You've got Colorado, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
it's
you have
like,
Arizona.
yeah. So it's like
You have Oregon
you.
State. Not that that's that big. USC.
I forgot about that. But my point is, you've got,
But yeah.
if you're Nike, you got too many schools to juggle. Now,
Yeah.
I could see Adidas coming back into play because Adidas was with them a long time. But I think what Adidas would do differently is match or put a number that works for them because $280 million in 15 years, those are big ass numbers.
Yeah, it is.
And those are big ass numbers to invest on a team not doing very well.
Yeah.
Now, if you could, Adidas, I think could handle it. What I also could see happening is Phenom Elite coming in and saying, we could match that.
I'm so happy you went there. I
could see that because
I
they've
would
been wanting to
only
jump
be
into college for the longest.
I would be absolutely tickled pink to see that happen for Nate. Again, that would be the sweetest thing ever for Phenom to be able to get a contract like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I can see that's very possible because once you get your foot in the door, the possibilities are endless. We all know this.
Yeah.
So, damn near every college is wearing their gloves in some way. They just have to cover them up because there's no real contract between school and company.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if they could ink a deal that works for both school and company, bro, they might be up there with Nike. They might kick the shit out of Adidas and Under Armour just to spite, the rest of these schools. Because here's what I think could really happen. And this is just a possibility, a theory, if you will. I don't think this would really happen, but again, mad scientist thinking here. I think they come in and swoop under Adidas to get UCLA. And then I think they mess around and work the mid majors, the MAC, Conference USA, the American. I think that could possibly happen, and I think they could keep a stranglehold on those. I could see that happening.
Yeah, that would definitely be dope. I mean, again, what he was able to do, or they do with the AFL uniforms, and again, they do.
Those were awesome.
And again,
man, did you see the Columbus Destroyer ones? I thought they were going back to the red, white, and blue, and they went to the black and white. That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome. I could see that.
And again, the other thing that we didn't get to see is a lot of the uniforms that he had prepared for the indoor league this year. Like,
oh man,
he had the Preds all worked out. He had the Carolina Cobras all worked out. My biggest want was to see the Spokane Shocks new uniforms that he.
Yeah, I was waiting on that too.
Again, he has a lot of deals right now with indoor, but yeah, all he needs is like that little edge.
One college, one or two colleges. He said
for again. just being able like obviously like a UCLA is going to be fairly traditional outside of their like frogman uniform that they did a while back for military appreciation.
Yeah.
UCLA is pretty traditional, but if they could get a team that is
Switches up uniforms like
more open to like just let Nate do what he does, I mean, Phenom does a lot of fun things, and like you said about their gloves are all over the place. I mean, you
and them
saw
gloves are fantastic.
with the AAF and the XFL, even though they weren't official partners, a lot of them boys were wearing those gloves.
Bro, I had the Goblin we were supposed to wear those for the championship, but I never got a chance to. With the Hobgoblin or the
Mhm.
Green Goblin or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Those gloves were awesome. Then they had the Black Panther brand. My favorite pair was the Black Panther pair.
I still like the
Just
Venom ones. I my new favorite is the ones that he just did now for. Um, I don't want to say it's the Joker because I don't want him to have copyright issues again. But it's the one where you can go like this, and it's the laughing mouth, and it says "ha"
oh,
all around it. Those are fire.
I got two pair of those. I got the since you brought up the Joker, I have the white pair, which is the ha ha ones, and then I have the dark pair, which is the why so serious. Those are awesome, bro. Like if he gets a deal with the college, I think it could set him up good because
Yeah,
there's a lot of schools going through changes right now to try and save money as well as try and get a new look. I think personally, if it was me, I shoot for Mount Union because they change they fucking uniforms every 2 days. So
Yeah.
Mount,
I don't see why.
Mount's another one that they don't have a very traditional look, and
Oh,
you
they had it. They had it. They just got rid of
used
it.
to, but they
They
used to.
got rid of it.
They're another one that has a lot of fun ways that you can mess with uniforms.
Well, when you win, that's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I was talking about that they have
That's
out
sick.
now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
I
then
like those.
the same thing, they have the ha ha on the palms. I said I like that just because I'd be waiting for a DN to be bitching about me holding them, and that's all I'd be. I just hold them out like this and just sit there and laugh.
Only you. All right.
Oh,
Let's see what other news we got. Okay. I've been seeing a lot of these new matchups, and even though they're years down the road, there's one that I thought was real interesting, and it was Ohio State and Alabama. Well, first, before we even get into that one, Oregon and Oregon State dropped Civil Roy
oh
name from
Jesus.
rivalry.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you even need to touch that?
I,
Why are you even going that far? Like that's not. It's nothing degrading about it. It's nothing.
so
Here's my thing.
it was a
Well,
so
go
it was
ahead.
a
Go ahead.
student. I have to look up the article because I saw the whole name of it, but apparently it was a student board at Oregon State that found that it was in ill taste because of what the Civil War, the moniker Civil War stands for, not the actual term that is a statesman of the same state fighting each other, and that's exactly what the Civil War is. But it is what it is. And again, it dates back to like 1890s, some shit. So I
Well,
mean,
here's
it's
my
been
thing. How do we know that said duck and said beaver weren't civil up until then? Like,
Man.
who are we to tell these animals how to handle their differences? We don't know what happens out in the wild. It's a duck and a beaver. How do we know that this duck didn't bite one of the beaver's cousins? How do we know this beaver didn't throw a piece of wood from the dam at one of these ducks? How do we know these group of ducks didn't, tear down the dam that was important? All I'm saying is Let these teams settle it the way they should and the way they know how, and stop being all mad about shit that we can't control. Like, it's bugging me and it's making me mad because you have all these teams that want to get rid of Indian names, not realizing that a lot of these Native American names have come from the Native American tribes themselves. The Seminole Nation literally has a deal with Florida State to use the Seminole name.
And they get
Not to
paid
mention
for
that,
it.
right, and not to mention that they're in Seminole Nation territory, so it only makes sense.
Yeah.
They want to get. They've been trying to talk about getting rid of the Indians. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but here's a quick history lesson in sports that has to do with this. In the 1920s, when the Indians were changed from the Spiders, the reason they took the name was because there was a Native American player on the Indian squad. He passed away a couple years later. In 1948, before they won the World Series against Boston, it was a Native American chief named Chief Thunderwater here in Cleveland who gave them their blessing to win the world, to go play in the World Series and win. He's literally buried across the street in Ontario Cemetery. That's just right across the street from the stadium. So there's a lot of Native American history as to why the Cleveland Indians are named the Cleveland Indians. It's not like we just said, hey, we need a name for a team that's not sounding like Spiders. Indians. Okay, go with it. There's legit history behind it. There's legit history behind 90% of the American sports teams that you have playing right now. And it usually has to do with something Native American. The Blackhawks, Blackfoot Indians, Black Hawk Nation, those guys are in there. The Iroquois Nation ran the Midwest. I don't understand why people don't get this. If you apply history to sports, you'll learn something.
And again, those franchises, again, we talk about the Florida State Seminoles and especially the Blackhawks. They pay to those tribes that way. I shouldn't say pay, but we'll say donate to make it seem better. That again, they do that to be able to honor those people.
Right, because without them, you don't get names like the Blackhawks, the Indians, the Braves, the Seminoles, because these are areas where these tribes actually ran. It's not like they just picked these names out of a hat. It's not like they did the Browns and had a contest for what to name the team. The Indians were here since 1919. First the Spiders. Spiders was pretty much phasing out. You had legit Native American players playing baseball at this time.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't understand that there was history behind that, then there's something completely wrong with you. Colorado Buffaloes. I don't see anybody trying to change their name, considering how Colorado does have a lot of bison in their territory, or they did before start trying to wipe them out. But there were a lot of animals, or with teams that you pay attention to, there was a lot of history behind it. Like, I had a friend who couldn't understand why we, as the Ohio State, were named the Buckeyes. I'm like, because that's a nut here that's found in Ohio. It's in the shape of a buck's eye. Really? Yeah. It's a poisonous nut. It is.
I know. Well, that's the funny part.
If you eat it, you might die. But and that tree is pretty much frequent, and it's in Columbus. It's not hard to find it. The Wolverines and the Badgers, those animals are really found in that area of the country. It's not like they just said we need a fierce name. Yeah, those animals are really found up there. So,
that's like the fun part about Oregon is they used to be called the Webfoots, and then they.
And what's a Webfoot? What's a Webfoot?
It's a duck.
A duck.
And a beaver.
Technically a mallard.
And a beaver. Yeah, that's a damn duck. And a beaver.
Listen,
so I ain't hating. I'm just saying it's a duck and a beaver. Well, well, technically, now that I think about it, that does sound kind of specious. Webfoot. That sounded real. It sounds real fucked up if you think about that. I would change it too. Yeah, I almost that. Yeah, you'd have to change it. And you know, you never know, man. A group of ducks might show up at your house. Like, webfoots, really? Yeah. All right. Uh, and the crazy part about this is, it bugs me when you see stuff like this because you really people need to really pay attention as to why and how these teams get their names. Like Ole Miss, we know that the Rebels. There's no secrets in Mississippi. Racism is abundant.
Yep.
Confederate state, we know. Tennessee, volunteers. People realize Tennessee had the most volunteers in the Civil War? Either side? No, I don't think so. Uh, the Utes out in Utah, real nation. For those that are wondering, it's a real Indian nation right around the school.
Yeah.
Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Let's see. It's Hawaii. You see a lot of rainbows after rain. And nobody really likes to mess with Polynesian people because they're some of the strongest and most toughest people on the planet Earth. Hence the Rainbow Warriors. You can either look at the rainbow or you can get your ass kicked. Take your pick.
Catch these hands.
Yeah.
And they're on discount.
Yeah. 2 for 1. But I just thought that was stupid. I don't even know why we had to talk about that, but to see that this is what they're going by and this is what they're trying to do.
That's the
I
silly
get it.
part. I still think the skins do need to change something, but
I don't think they need to change it at all. And here's why. And I'm not agreeing with him before I get started. I'm not agreeing with this guy. I'm not agreeing with Dan Snyder. Let's look at historical facts here. Native Americans do have a tendency, depending on part of the country, to have red complected skin only because it was either something they used to put on the skin when summertime came, or it was just that was how it was. But historically, further than that, there is documented interracial relationships between either black and white, black and Native American, white and Native American, and it didn't stop. Didn't stop. So I think if you're gonna rename the team, you could always use Trump. The Washington Oranges. Hey, look, man, it's a team in Syracuse that used to be named the Orange Men. All right. So now they just
Now it's
shortened
the
it, calling them the
Orange. It's the
Syracuse
Orange.
Orange.
Yeah.
It's a giant ass orange. But before it was an orange and a dude sitting next to the damn orange, which is that Orange Man. Come on, man. I don't understand why we need to keep having these conversations. It's killing me. Like, you gotta. It's his team. He paid the millions of dollars to buy that team. Just like every professional sports team owner paid the millions of dollars to own that team. Who are we to tell them to change the name of the team, considering that name has been with the team for 70, 80, 90 years?
Yeah.
It's not our job. Unless we all come up with millions of dollars to buy these teams from these said people, leave it alone. And I'm not on either side of the fence. It's just reality. Reality is I don't have $1 million growing out my ass to buy the Washington Redskins and rename the team. It's just the truth. Just like I don't have $1 million growing in the back tree of my house to buy the Chicago Blackhawks. Okay, well, they just gonna stay the Blackhawks. I ain't got a problem with it. Nothing about the logos that they have for said teams is offensive. Not that I've seen. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Florida State's new uniforms that they've been wearing for the last 2 or 3 years now is a actual Seminole design that they got from the tribe.
Yeah, in the sleeves and in the collar, yeah.
Chief Osceola is dressed like a straight Seminole warrior, Seminole tribesman. I don't see a problem with this. I think people just need to leave it alone. You're reaching when you start messing with teams. Here in Ohio, we've already had that problem, and they still haven't recovered from it. Miami of Ohio had to change their name from the Redskins in 1997. Now they're the Red Hawks, and the bird ain't even red; it's fucking pink.
Exactly.
No, George, you laughing? Go if you ever get a chance to watch a Miami Ohio game and they're at home. Pay attention if they show a mascot. It's a pink ass bird. It's a pink hawk. It's not
Super.
red.
That's
It's
funny
hot.
as
It
hell.
looked like a ferocious flamingo.
Yep. Bubblegum pink.
So yes. So
I
you
was
know,
gonna say the only hawk I can keep that I keep picturing in my head though is Utah's mascot. So I'll have to look that up. That's funny.
I'm dead serious, bro. 97, they made Miami of Ohio change it. And Ohio is prime Native American territory.
Yeah.
Prime.
Exactly.
Damn near every county in Ohio is got a Native American name.
Yeah. Cuyahoga. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cuyahoga, Tuscarawas, Olentangy. Like everything about that is Native American. Heck, I don't know too many people that can spell Olentangy, let alone pronounce it. So I just think people are reaching. They're really reaching because now you messing with tradition for real. Like it's okay. Ole Miss, I get it. It's the Rebels, got the flag. Your uniforms look like you're a
I'm
damn.
happy you brought that up. So as of today, Mississippi legislatures passed a bill to eliminate the Confederate flag symbol out of the state flag. So they felt the pressure from, I'm assuming, the SEC and everybody else that they had a House vote of 91 to 23 and then a Senate vote of 37 to 14 to eliminate the Confederate flag out of the flag. So
what
we'll
did you
see.
expect that was gonna happen?
Yeah, I'll be interested to see how they redesign it.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the works already because they already took the actual Confederate flag down off of the state house years ago.
Right.
So to have it
So-
still on the actual state flag was like, okay, we're not going to fly it up there, but then we got that little piece on the actual state flag still that we're going to hold on to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was in the works, I felt like, already.
Yeah, and
When
I
this
feel like
happened, it's like,
especially the push from the SEC essentially taking money out their pockets.
yeah.
Well, look at the reality, man. I hate to say it like this, but the damn conference is Southeastern. So you got all of the South in this conference, and you didn't think about, hey man, we're recruiting black players. We want to make them as comfortable as possible. It's already bad enough. We in states where there are no secrets with racism. Like
wrong.
I can't.
Most of the, not most, but almost all, or God damn it, I don't know how to word this, but a lot of the college campuses stopped flying the state flag because of that reason right there. So they were, I forget, they were just flying like their campus flag initially.
Well, you have to make it look, man. And I didn't want to turn this racial, but it's reality again. You have to understand, you are asking a black player who comes from all walks of life, whether it's the suburbs, whether it's the hood, the projects, you're asking him to step into your school on campus, which is predominantly white outside of whatever athletic teams you support. And on top of that, the only time that they really like you as a player is on said game day. You think it's fair to me to go to Mississippi, where I know is abundantly racist, play football, you know me on Saturday, and then Sunday when I go get a bite to eat, now you looking at me funny with your Confederate flag sitting out there? No, I'm not comfortable with that. Yeah. I'm not even comfortable with the idea of white people coming through the hood, and we ain't never seen y'all come through the hood before. Just reality. So
who
said
that, Pop? I think Pop said something like that, or no, it was a college coach talking about. Oh, it was the Texas head coach, the Longhorns head coach.
Yeah, because he's right.
About how are you going to salute these guys on Saturday? Then, like you said, on Monday, look at him sideways while he walked down the street of Austin.
Yep.
Like,
Right. You can't do that. You can't have it both ways. You can't like me on game day, and then when I come to your restaurant, it's all, yeah, keep an eye on him.
right.
It's not gonna work like that. And then you asking me to be okay with it. Not okay with that. Like,
Yeah, that's definitely the side. And again, I think, again, he made a great point of that because sadly, I feel like a lot of people that, especially are sports fans, are that way. That again, you look at all these guys on Saturday, Sunday, whatever, and then you're going to look at basically a guy that looks exactly like him on a Tuesday and look sideways. Like it's just
Yeah.
dumb. That
yeah,
that thought process is just ass
like,
backwards.
just think about it, Ronnie. How many times did we went out to play New Philadelphia or Bay
Oh my
Village,
goodness, man.
and we being looked at funny just because we are all black team? It ain't what
Bro, they
y'all
were
got.
throwing expletives at us like getting off the bus, bro. And
Yeah, and
everybody's
then
like, "Did y'all just hear that?" We like,
yeah,
yeah, we're gonna take it out on
and
them.
we still gonna play this game.
Right.
Like, if you like, I know you've never really ventured into Ohio to play a high school team, but if you were to ever play in
Not
New
high school.
Philadelphia, I'm saying, but if you were to ever play in New
Yeah.
Philadelphia, like that whole city shuts down for football.
Yep.
Oh, I bet.
And
Every Friday, bro.
no, you got to hear it. You got to hear it so you can see what we saw. For that whole city to shut down and then look at the visitors' bleachers, and the only people of color that you see are your unit or your principals, your athletic directors, and your cheerleaders. That ain't good.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then and lo and behold, God forbid you kicking their ass. Then you got another problem. Now you got to worry about if they gonna hurl more stuff at you, throw stuff at you. Wait till you get to the locker room and start throwing shade at you somehow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think the step of removing offensive material is right, but I think the talk needs to be had first, and
Yeah.
I think the talk is more. I think the talk is more important than the actual removal of offensive material. Because I think once you understand and have the talk, the offensive material won't matter as much because now okay, I see this is this is offensive to you. I'll make the decision to take it down. I won't be pressured to do it because I think that's the only reason they're doing it is because they pressure. You lose black players going to college, you got a problem. You're losing money already.
Yep.
Mhm.
Now, because from what I read, a basketball player has made a jump to HBCU and a football player has made a jump to HBCU when being recruited by D1 schools in FBS divisions or FBS conferences. So I'm a firm believer on the talk is more important because now once you have that talk with me, you know why it's offensive instead of me just telling you or you being pressured by the government, your school on, hey, this is offensive. You need to take it down. Hey, you can talk to me and I'll tell you why it's offensive.
Exactly.
See, I think that's the one thing, and again, it's one of those. Like again, we're all friends, so again, we're able to have those conversations. It's the people that don't have. I joke about it. The Karens and the Chads that don't have friends like that and are again Facebook smashing on the computer going, "Oh, why are you taking this down?" But they don't go out to try to have that conversation.
And they never will.
They won't.
They
No.
never will because they're too scared because they don't want to be faced with it. Like I heard Rob Van Dam tell a story about how he smacked Taz for doing something he shouldn't have did. Now, the reason I'm using this story was because once they had that situation happen, it changed how they went towards and interacted with each other. Uh, Taz had been egotistical in the locker rooms or whatever, and he started to piss Van Dam off. Van Dam told him pick a hand. Taz picked whatever hand he picked, and Van Dam smacked him with it. And he said, "From now on, this is the hand I'm going to smack you with." So my thinking is the people that don't want to have these talks don't want to get smacked in the face with the truth
Oh
because
yeah.
that's what it's gonna be. Like if you walk through my neighborhood and you not with me and you get jumped just because, or you get looked at sideways, this is what I go through walking into a suburban neighborhood or a suburban mall. What you think? What did you think was gonna happen? You thought you was gonna walk free? They wasn't gonna say nothing to you? No, it's the same thing. If you walk through somewhere strange and you look funny, you're gonna get the same kind of reaction I get on a daily basis. And I don't think these people who are Twitter typing, Facebook typing, I don't think they want to have that reality hit them because it's gonna scare them. It's gonna scare
No.
them to know that this could happen to them too.
Yeah. And again, we've talked about all kinds of shit like before shows and stuff like that. And again, just bullshitting. But again, we're at that point right now in this show. Like, again, I appreciate both of you guys. We always bullshit and talk about it. And again, being able to have, and again, from my side of things, being able to talk to teammates and friends and guys that I played in leagues with that, again, at one time or another that we've talked. And like, again, that's like, and like you talk about, Mel, like it's almost like you wish you could grab one of those people and say, sit the fuck down and just listen to this real quick.
Not even
And
listen, just watch. Because you
well,
played arena, you see what it's like. You
oh
walk with
yeah.
us.
Oh,
We're
especially
in
in Texas, fuck.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Some of those
You
places in Texas, like it was wild.
yeah, you walk with us during just going to get something to eat in these situations. And nobody says anything to you. Nobody looks at you funny. But the minute we say, let me get something off the menu, can you afford that? Like I wouldn't be here if I couldn't.
Right.
But you just saw me last night at the game and asking, can you get my autograph for your kid?
Yeah. Like I said, it's like you said, people are either afraid or they just love sitting in their ignorance that's what we're left. Again, I shouldn't say we're left at, but that's what they're
Yeah,
left
you
at.
right. You right because it's a people thing. Like we could we can only say so much before people start seeing it for themselves.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
uh Ronnie, like you live in Columbus. Columbus is one of the most diverse and also one of the most sideways places I've ever been. Like
Yeah, it's a lot
they
going down here, man. They
yeah,
got
it's a
it's a big
you can't
release they
up
had
here.
recently.
Uh-huh.
So there was this thing that somebody posted. It talked. I think it was on Instagram or something, like more of like the private type rooms or whatever. And a lot of it was centered around some of the schools that are located like on the western part of Columbus. So you got like Hilliard and you got Dublin and schools like that. And they were talking about how like the things they were making some of the students do, and not even just from a black white perspective, but like also for you know, folks that were assumed to not have English as a first language or stuff like that, and making them take certain classes they didn't need, even though they were from Ohio, and stuff like that. And the things people were saying about the players that are on certain teams, or what they would talk about in practice and whatnot, and things would come out of their mouth. And it was just surprising to me because it was like, okay, it's out there or whatever, but it could be somebody who, you think is real cool, or somebody who you work with or is real, friendly or whatever, smile at you and all of that. And then behind closed doors, you know what I'm saying, when the cameras is off, when the phones aren't there, stuff like that, it makes you question like what the real conversation sounds like that they're having with their families or whoever else behind the closed doors that you don't even know about, man. And for it to come out like that, or for you know teenagers or whatever to be joking in that way, or to think it's cool, it's like, okay, what's really going down in your house? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like what y'all been talking about
yeah,
for all these years? Because when you're real little,
yeah.
you're not thinking like that at all. So it's definitely tough.
No.
But yeah, man, it's been happening, man. A lot of recent stories around here, just in this area, about different high school players and what they're experiencing right now, or what they've been having conversations about, or even stuff coming out of the closet that wasn't there before, is being brought to light to them. It's just a lot happening surrounding that here, man. So
Yeah, you still can't even walk through Little Italy up here correctly.
right, yeah, I remember that, man. You better get in
And
and
the
get out.
crazy part about it is, if you would give them historical context, they'd have a heart attack in Little Italy.
Hmm.
Because it's a little island called Sicily that they don't even associate themselves with, and don't realize the Sicilians are dark because there were
Yep.
black people there.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you can't walk through Little Italy, I know what's being said around here. It just in sports, and you would think sports was the gateway to have these conversations because you in the
Right.
locker room with everybody. But clearly everybody don't want to have that talk because you don't want to see, you want your world to stay perfect, but not realizing that your teammates' world ain't as perfect as yours.
I feel like sports is definitely a better gateway, but like you said, I still feel like there are certain people that either just turn a blind eye to it or just want to stay ignorant to it, and
Yep.
like you said, stay in their little bubble. But I still think that, and again, I believe it's Herm Edwards that always talks about get back to the huddle and just being able to say like it doesn't care, like it doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, yellow, purple, like Mel said, candy apple red. Like once you're in that huddle, like that's your team, that's your
Hmm.
support system. Like it that again to the fullest extent of, I mean, that's your live and die. I mean, and it's so hard to talk to people like that either A, weren't athletes or weren't athletes to a certain level that they understand that world of being able to share the gridiron, share a locker room, share like that struggle with people from all different walks of life.
And even then it's still problems because you don't know, it's
Oh
always
yeah.
that closet one.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
that's the
speaking,
sad part.
and even something like on a lower level, so nothing too crazy, but I remember when Drew Brees a month ago released his statement, you know, and immediately his whole offense was like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah, he
that's
was
how you
gonna die.
feel?
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
even like the whole sports world. So again, I love
yeah,
watching Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee was like heartbroken that like
yeah,
still people in the NFL, especially in the NFL. Like
yeah,
again, it's one thing for like Captain Joe Blow to like still want to be focusing just on the flag, but for you to share a locker room and like Pat McAfee laid it out. He's like, whenever Cap was kneeling and everything like that was going on in 2016, he goes, there was some raw ass conversations in that locker room on like a Monday when they were off of guys just sharing stories and talking and everything like that. Because again, especially in an NFL locker room, I mean, yeah, you got some guys going in and out, but they're all cut from that a certain cloth and have that like that just that fraternal brotherhood that they were able to talk to each other. And like Pat McAfee was like either he missed those conversations
Or he
or
didn't care.
he
yeah,
didn't care and just
ineffective.
like just missed it. Like and Pat was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Like,
because for you to be in a city that is predominantly black,
well, that too. Shit.
Yeah,
and for you to play in a league that's 70% black,
again,
how do you miss that? And you still come out with that video? I'm surprised your whole offense didn't show up to your house.
right,
Like it's one
seriously,
of those things to like have your own opinion, but then to still have that ignorance. It's like, bro, what the fuck did you miss?
A lot.
Exactly. All this
Like,
time,
A lot. A
bro,
lot.
they're ready to start Jameis Winston.
but like
Yeah.
again, it's one of those things.
We
Like,
take Jameis. Jay, you part of the brotherhood, man.
Right,
Come on in.
suit up. You thought you weren't gonna play this year? Suit up. There you go.
but it was like, what the fuck? It's like, again, you have guys like Chris Long and again a Steeler. You have Alejandro Villanueva. Again, he served. He's like, bro, what you don't understand is I'll always stand for my flag, but I understand what the movement is. I understand what these guys are saying. Same with Chris Long. Chris Long says, I myself won't kneel, but I will stand arm in arm with my brothers. And that was like the biggest thing that I loved with Chris Long was like, he said, listen, this is my thing, but I will gladly sit there and salute my flag while I have my arm on Malcolm Jenkins' shoulders, showing unity with my brother. Like,
And here's a little known fact, because me and Ronnie talked about this when it got to the hype. What people don't realize is before, what was it, 2010, I believe, before around that time, the national anthem was only played before the players came out. The military gave them $9 million over a set amount of years to have the national anthem played, have the flag pulled out while the players are out.
It was
So this is the military.
It was a DOD.
Yeah. So this was the military and Roger Goodell's fault. Now, when Cap started protesting, he was originally sitting down. We got it. You know, you're not supposed to sit, but it's his thing. When he talked to Nate Boyer, who was a Marine, Green Beret,
long snapper,
right? He said, well, this is what we do to honor. They kneel. And you see it in every fucking military commercial. When you see a soldier has passed away, you see him sitting at their partner's grave, they're kneeling. So it's not about the flag. It was what can we do to make it so it's not offensive. And if you can't understand that a military person who served said that, that's your own fucking problem.
Yep.
You can't understand. Yeah, and you can't understand that the flag and the national anthem weren't officially incorporated until 2010 by the Department of Defense and the commissioner of the NFL. Then that's you not doing due diligence to research this. Because how many games did we go to as kids and standing through the national anthem, and then all of a sudden the players are coming out?
Yep.
Now all of a sudden in 2010 we got to stand while they're out. They already did player introductions and all that. And then we got to stand the national anthem, watch the flag and the flyover. Come on, man. You didn't think that was set up somehow? It had to be. They didn't just come up with that idea by themselves.
And the only game you really saw that at was like the Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was like one of the only games that they
Super Bowls, national championships, World Series.
Right. That's it.
NBA Finals.
The thing that and it was more of like a ha-ha laugh than like a point and funny laugh. Yeah. Marshawn Lynch almost his entire career sat during that.
Ain't nobody fucking with him.
Oh, ain't nobody saying Marshawn Lynch.
Ain't nobody walking up to him. Ain't nobody walking up to him saying shit.
I forget.
Hey man, you gotta stand up, bro.
He like,
you know why I'm here.
Right. I want to say it was during that period of whenever Cap started that somebody pointed it out, and Marshawn's like, bro, I've been doing this since I was a cow. Like,
and you're not gonna make me change it now.
I sit on the bench before games. I
eat Skittles during the game. Who the fuck are you?
Right. He trying to worry about his gameplay. He ain't focused on nothing else but how he gonna come out there and do his thing. That's it.
Right. And you know what? Not to cut you guys off, but I'm reading this right now, and I think this is actually a decent thing if they play this right.
Mm-hmm.
It came out about about 2 weeks ago. LSU has scheduled for the first time Southern and Grambling State. So both teams will be playing LSU starting in 2022 and 2023. Grambling, Southern will be visiting September 10th, 2022. Grambling coming a year later, 2023.
Oh wow.
So that's a start on racial tensions because you never ever see an HBCU come to LSU.
Man, they in the same state. Let it be the new Battle of Louisiana. Go ahead and
Man,
switch that up.
at
Go
this
ahead and
point,
do that.
LSU would be dog walking that rivalry, but
Well,
it's
yeah,
a start. It's a
it'll
start.
be a lot closer than UL Lafayette
I
or
tell you
UL
this.
Monroe.
Oh yeah, but I tell you this. LSU might
Man.
win the game, but they damn sure gonna lose that battle with the bands.
And they're gonna field the next day too.
Oh yeah,
They'll
because they
be
start, man. Them motherfuckers hit. Hey,
they
when
hit.
Grambling and Southern play, dude, you have to watch those games. When Grambling and Southern play,
Oh
it's
yeah.
like they really don't like each other.
They
Oh,
don't.
I just lack of televised, but then again, just different games. But I always love whenever they do the season kickoff. And what again, just like a week ago or something like that, they replayed the historical Black College Hall of Fame game on again. Damn, I forget what teams were playing. But again, like that was on. So again, of course, on ESPNU, I'm like, hell yeah, football.
Well, and I think this is good for the state of Louisiana because
Oh
when
yeah.
you go to LSU, majority of that crowd is white. Now you got to set aside 20, 25, maybe 30,000 tickets for the HBCUs. That's awesome.
Yes, it
And the
is.
band, that place gonna be rocking.
Oh, definitely Death
Death
Valley.
Valley ain't seen that many folks up in there, boy.
You're gonna be seeing white people get on rhythm for once, talking about I ain't never heard this, but this is hot.
Oh man.
Hey, let's look at reality, man. I'm as bad as racial tension is right now. To see something like this, that's pretty good. That's decent. So my hat's off to LSU, even though the score might not reciprocate everybody else's feelings. That's still it's still a start, and I think they should keep. I think they should keep that because not only does it give you a taste of what you're not getting in college football mainstream, but it also gives a side of college football that you need to see as far as tradition in the HBCU.
And it puts Grambling State on a
Mainstream,
widely broadcasted, nationally televised game. Okay,
yeah,
live. All right,
yeah.
man, bro,
Not tape delayed.
bro. Take that L and take it gracefully on national television.
We ain't gonna take it gracefully. We gonna win the battle of the bands. Believe that. I'm telling
Oh
you.
yeah, that's that for sure.
We gonna split the weekend. Y'all won the game. We won the battle. Boom. We see y'all next year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game, man. That's gonna be cool.
And it's crazy because to see the Bayou Classic and it looked like a Saints game because it's packed. It's packed and it's loud.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see what it sounds like for Death Valley.
Yeah.
The acoustics in that place. It's probably gonna be a dream for them to even be in there and to hear just the sound of the band. And like it's crazy. It's like one of the things where like I guess you would never think in a million years you would ever see that happen. And for it to happen or about to happen, it's just a huge win for the college, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's getting late, but this is the last thing I wanted to bring up to you guys because y'all brought it up to me before we went live. Cam Newton to the Patriots. Good move, bad move. What do you think?
I honestly think it's going to be a decent move. Damn, somebody said his name earlier and I didn't forget. Who's Josh McDaniels? That's it. I think having Cam and Josh McDaniels,
Man.
I feel like Josh McDaniels unfortunately had to take like that sidecar to like Brady. But I honestly think Josh McDaniels is a smart offensive mind. in having Cam and the stable of running backs that they have, and the different kind of I got to look up their depth chart, but to look up
Damn
their
the depth chart. Look at the playbook.
But
Man.
I mean, look at their like stable of running backs and the actual weapons Cam's going to finally have that he really never had until his like basically the last year at Carolina.
Right.
And I feel like New England's kind of defense is falling off, but it's still a very good defense that, again, he'll actually have a defense to kind of help him out.
Here's my thing with this, and this is why I like the idea, because before the merger, I'll say that before the merger, me and Ronnie had talked about this, and I honestly thought he would end up in Chicago. I thought New England was a stretch, but it was possible. But my main thing was Chicago sold on Mitch Trubisky, and I didn't think they were. Now, I did throw it out there that it is a possibility because, Belichick likes quarterbacks that are durable. Tom Brady's been durable throughout 20 years.
Very durable.
Cam is durable. He didn't have what he needed in Carolina, which was a fucking offensive line.
Yeah,
and
they did build a nice offensive line up in New England.
I'm about to say, going into New England, Belichick don't do nothing else. He gonna give you an offensive line. Now, what you do with it is on you.
Yep.
This could work.
Oh, definitely.
You're missing stuff on defense, but it's nothing you can't fill in free agency in the draft.
And they just drafted 17 tight ends. So I mean,
tight ends ain't a luxury no more. It's more of a necessity.
Yeah.
But with this move, I think even if they don't win the division, I still think they have a shot at the playoffs offensively because of the division that they're in. Their only real competition is Buffalo. The only thorn in their side.
Miami will be better this year.
They will be better, but that was what I was getting at. They've always been the thorn in New England's side.
Yeah.
If anybody's beaten them in the division, it's been Miami. So with this move, I think offensively, it gives McDaniels the option to throw whatever he wanted in his playbook that he couldn't throw in with Brady. Because now you got a running quarter. He's not even a running quarterback. The motherfucker can throw the ball too. So he's a dual threat. Now you have the true dual threat that your playbook was possibly made for.
Well, unfortunately, for the AFC, you might have a Lamar 2.0. Because, again, Lamar made a lot of moves with his feet, but he did. I mean, as much as I want to joke, he made a lot of plays with his arm because the guys had to respect his legs as well.
Yeah, and you have to do that now with Cam because he's had time to heal.
Yep, we said the same thing earlier.
He had time to heal, and that's the biggest thing about a football player. Once you got time to heal, you come back better than ever unless you're Emmitt Smith. You know how that one went.
First off, let me remind you who is in New England right now. So wide receiver-wise, you have Julian Edelman, Mohamed Sanu, N'Keal Harry. They did sign Marquise Lee, which is, again, I'm looking at just like actual notable names.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Their offensive line is actually pretty nice. Again, God damn, I'm going to hack his name.
Wait, hold up. So you got Sanu, Lee, Edelman,
and Harry that's healthy.
And Harry.
Yeah.
Which one of you guys don't step up this year for sure.
And Harry was like huge.
They can share the load. They can share the man. I'm looking at this from a playbook perspective. You can share the load on that one because you got 4 people to throw to.
That's just wide receivers. Again, in running back wise, you still have James White, which is a dual threat running back. You have Sony Michel, which is a dual threat running back.
Okay.
You have Rex Burkhead, which is your up the middle back. You have Brandon Bolden, that is your up the middle back. You have Damian Harris, that is also an up the middle running back.
Man, after the third one, I stopped counting. I ain't even worried about offense at that point. I'm
Right.
about to like this. I'm about to like this.
Like I said, they already had Matt Lacrosse, Mac Lacrosse, or whatever the fuck his name is. And then they again drafted the 17 tight ends. So I mean,
the fuck do you get 17 tight ends?
I'm exaggerating. It was only 6.
I know, but I'm just saying that's a lot of fucking tight ends. That's man. Your training camp. Who you gonna cut?
Who are you gonna cut? Let's look at this list,
dude. And again, their offensive line is again pretty good. I really like Shaq Mason, Joe God damn it!
Just stop, man, before you give yourself a heart attack.
Tahita.
Man, just leave it alone, man. We get it. They got a nice offensive line. I do not need you having an aneurysm live on camera.
But again, between the guy Joe, that's their left guard, and Quentin Nelson, they were like the best guards last season with the amount of snaps and not giving up any sacks. So I mean, in what was it? Marcus Cannon is also nice. Again, God damn it, I hate the Patriots so much.
No, I'm just saying, just open up the playbook. Like,
yeah. I mean, you can just have fun. You want to throw it, you want to run it, you want to run read option.
You can do whatever the fuck you want, and can't nobody stop it because you don't know who is doing what at any given time.
With Baltimore, they probably haven't run yet.
Yeah.
Christopher said in our comments again, talking about opening up RPOs. Again, that's the new trend right now. So, I mean, you might as well. I mean, you have the ability. I mean, Jesus.
Might as well.
Man.
It's there.
And again, their defense is healthy again. Like Dante Hightower is going to be healthy this year. Again, you have still the McCourty twins.
And then Chris went on to say the Dolphins are going to blow up some people's tickets. Yeah, they are. But here's the thing. Like I said, it's always been Miami that's the thorn in the side. But with this offense that you just named, I don't think Miami got an answer for it. I don't think nobody in that division got an answer for it.
I mean, defensively, Miami got the secondary to do it, but I don't think they have the front seven to.
What you gonna do without linebackers in the line? Because last year the only reason they were in those games with New England was because of interceptions. It wasn't because of sacks or fumbles.
Nope.
Yeah.
So you can have one without the other if you somebody like Pittsburgh, Baltimore, or maybe San Francisco. But in this case, you need both.
The one thing that's going to be fun is Calvin Oy is now a Dolphin. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
Shaq Lawson. But again, outside of their DBs, I'm not a fan.
Who do they have?
Their DBs?
I'm saying outside of the DBs, who do they have?
Oh, exactly.
Because
Shaq Lawson and Calvin Oy are the only two names that I recognize.
Yeah, like this is my thing, and like I said, we've all played football, so it's obvious. If you don't have nobody, I'll start over. When you have the offense that New England's bringing in 2020, with those wide receivers, that quarterback, that set of running backs, what are you going to do as a defense? You don't know. You can't just look at film and say, all right, well, if they do this, we're going to do this. You can't, because it's blown out the window, because going into that week, you don't know what the fuck they going to do.
That's why Lamar's such a bitch to get ready for. What do you want to get ready for? Him being able to dink and dunk? Or do you want to get ready for him to be able to be immobile out of the court, like out of the backfield?
I want him. You know what? I will say this: given the divisions, because it's a big divisional gap between the AFC North and the AFC East, and that gap is simple. Everybody in the AFC North plays defense. I don't care if they stink or not. Everybody plays defense. Everybody knows everybody. when you only see New England maybe once or twice every 2 years. So when you, as a team that does not traditionally see New England, go into New England, because you know you got to go to New England.
Yeah.
When you go into New England, you got to fight a plethora of shit that you ain't never had to deal with before. The crowd, possibly the weather, and whatever Josh McDaniels got in that big ass fucking playbook.
Mm-hmm.
So
That
I'm
big
looking
ass
at
head.
this. Yeah. So I'm looking at this the way you are supposed to. With that offense that you just named, I think they got a strong case for the division. Now, do they have what it takes on defense to keep everybody else from trying to get that division as well? I'm not really sold on the Jets. I think Sam Darnold gonna end up with mono again. How the fuck he did that, I don't know. Miami is getting stronger, and there's no doubt about it because, like I said, they've been a thorn in New England's side for the last 3 years. Buffalo is a clear second. Now, do they have what it takes to get over that hump and at least split the season series with New England? It remains to be seen. But at this moment, I'm still giving the edge to New England based off the move they made for a quarterback and the weapons that they have put around him offensively. With that combination, it's kind of hard not to give them the division.
Christopher
Now-
said we're sleeping on the Dolphins.
And you know what?
The only
Hold
thing
up,
I
hold up,
happening
hold
this
up.
year. It's
Hold
not
up.
happening this year.
Hold up. Wait, because you just made me knock my phone over. Let
Give it a
me
season,
start off.
like, it's not
Let me
happening.
start off by saying this.
The only way I
This
see,
is-
I'll say this: the only reason I see the Dolphins actually being able to even get close to winning the division is if some way Tua wins the job and just shocks the shit out of everybody. Defensively, I don't see them being able to do it. He talks about the DBs like I was talking about, but outside of the DBs, I don't see them being able to put pressure to give the DBs time.
Nope.
Okay, here's the thing. Chris is my brother, my legit biological brother. The only reason he's saying this shit is because he's from Miami. He's a diehard Dolphins fan. Bro, I love you, but let's be logical about this. If Miami don't get past the first 6 games with a 3-3 record or a 4-2 record, it's not happening.
It's done.
It's not gonna happen. And matter of fact, let's pull up Miami's schedule just so we can see what they have to deal with. Because let's rule out the divisional games.
Damn, I gotta figure out how to share my screen so I can start sharing this shit.
All right. First game of the season. Miami's at New England.
God damn. Find out real quick.
Let's go.
Yeah, Miami. Actually, take that back. 2020 schedule right here. First 3 games. Actually, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. First 6 games. Miami at New England. At home against Buffalo. On the road against Jacksonville. They host Seattle. They go out to San Francisco. And then they got to stay on the West Coast and go to Denver.
And you know damn well any of the East Coast teams, when they have to go west, it's already a disadvantage.
Exactly. But the good thing for Miami with those two West Coast games is that they're both 4:00 games. San Francisco's 4:00, Denver's 4:00.
Yep.
Now let's look at the second half of this. Let's look at the next 6 games.
Chris
They got
is
the
telling
Chargers
you to
at
put your
home.
money up.
I put my money up. I don't see Miami going past 7 and 8. If you want me to be honest.
And you got a revamped Cardinals team too.
Second half of the next 6 games. Chargers, they got the Chargers at home. They got the Rams at home. They got to go back out to the West Coast against Arizona. Then they have the sorry ass Jets.
Back to back.
And they got a bye week. Yeah, then they got a bye week back to back. Then they go to the Jets.
I hate
and they
when
got
they
Cincinnati.
do that shit.
Get it out the way. Who cares? It's the Jets. Then they got to go to. Then they got Cincinnati at home. Next 2 home games. Actually, next 3 home games. Cincinnati, Kansas City, in New England.
Ugh.
God
Ugh.
bless.
Oh my goodness.
You better hope Joe
Then,
Burrow doesn't figure his shit out.
Right.
then,
That late
then
in
the
season?
last, then the
With
last two
AJ,
games. Then the last two games, they're at Las Vegas and at Buffalo.
God, that
It ain't
still
looking
feels
too
weird.
great. That second
Still
half of the
saying Las
season.
Vegas still feels weird.
Oh, right.
Yeah, calling the Raiders Las Vegas. Yeah, that is weird.
It still feels weird.
But you starting off the season shitty.
The LA Chargers.
You starting off the season. You coming off a 5-11 record last year, and you starting off the season shitty. You got to go to New England for your first game. Then you got Buffalo coming. You might beat the Jaguars. But then you got Seattle, San Francisco, and Denver. 2 of those 3 games are on the road, 4:00 games. You already don't have a good record against Denver in Denver.
Mm. It
What
ain't looking
money
too
are
hot.
Chris? What money are you trying to bet, bro? That first stretch of the season, you might go 1-5.
Mm.
He said they
I'm giving you.
rebuilt the trenches.
You
I mean,
rebuilt the line,
hold
so
on.
what? What up?
Time out. Hold on.
Josh Rosen is not proven.
Oh my
No,
goodness.
right now as of right now, Fitzmagic is their starting quarterback.
He gonna die in the first game against New England if they get to him.
Yep.
Man, come on, man. Come on, man. Let's be logical about this.
Oh, Jesus
Don't-
Christ. I hope he's not serious because Eric Fowers is their penciled in left guard.
Ooh, Jesus.
Ted
Ryan
Trace,
Fitzpatrick gonna die.
Yeah. And you know he's gonna have flashbacks from when he played for the Jets.
Man, look.
Just saying. You already saw New England twice already. Now you gotta see him twice again. You having flashbacks, bro.
Then you got to see your old team in Buffalo again.
Exactly.
He's saying
Twice.
He's saying over under on the games, not just straight out.
Over under, you ain't got nothing coming.
I'll give you the Jets.
I give him the Jets. I give him the Jaguars. Maybe. I give him
The Bengals.
I give him the Bengals.
That's
And
if
I
Joe
give
Burrow
him-
doesn't figure his thing out.
Yeah, that's if
That's if you don't figure
Their
it out.
defense is still pretty decent.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, here. I give him the Jaguars. I give him the Broncos, just because the Broncos having a down year. I give him the Chargers. I'm not giving him the Rams or the Cardinals because you hosting at home, but then you gotta go on the road after that. 7 days later. I'm not giving you the Cardinals in that situation. I give you both the Jets games and the Bengals game. And that's given if Joe Burrow don't figure his shit out, like everybody's saying. So that's what, 6-7 games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and a possible 7. That's a spade bid. That's a possible 7 wins. Ain't no over or under in that. Because you just came off 5-11. So you only get with the offensive line that you got and the offense you've got, you're only giving yourself maybe 2 more wins than you had last year.
I do agree with him. He just said we're rebuilding. You are rebuilding, but
You've
you're not
been
ready
rebuilding
for
since
this year.
Marino left.
Nah, but be fair. Again, with Flores there, I do have some faith in them.
Okay,
But-
yeah. You're right.
But to right now dethrone again, you still have to put New England in the talk for taking the division because it's New England.
Right.
And again, right now with Brady leaving, you can only put the Bills at like 1B.
Second. I know
So,
it's a clear second because they got to get over the hump. You have to see the Bills actually beat them. It hasn't been shown yet.
Yeah, that's fair too.
But I gotta head out, fellas. But great talking with you, even though Stanley Jackson couldn't hang with us. But hopefully we'll get another host that actually don't ghost us or guests that don't ghost us. But I'll talk to you fellas later.
We'll talk that way. We can have a full roundtable hopefully next time.
Definitely.
Yep.
All right, boys. We'll talk to you later. Good talking with you.
Appreciate y'all. Have a good one, man.
You too, man. Talk to you later.